Thanks for joining us back here as we continue to talk now about that mental component to this entire fertility journey. And quite honestly, I am still navigating through this just postpartum as well. Ruth joining us now as we talk about just the trauma that one, having miscarriages can have, but really just starting this fertility journey can rock your world. I keep saying that. But when people arrive to you, there's just brokenness.
Yes.
And what do you do to begin even navigating through that with them?
Well, I always let them tell their story first. It's so important to be able to share, because a lot of times you have no one to share with, or you feel like most women in this situation feel like they're all alone. No one understands them. This is the first time this has ever happened, which is not true, but that's one thing we work through. So I always have them share their story, but then I explain that, they're not alone. First and foremost, the Lord is with them, that Jesus is with them. And we talk about that. And I'm a biblical counselor, so I use God's word to give hope. But also we talk about the fact they're not alone. And then we try to figure out a support person in their life to help them in the next part of their journey. Because it's so important not only to have that faith and that hope that comes from Christ, but also to have people in your life that can pour into you and that can help you. But part of that is opening up and letting them in. And that's a huge part that we have to really push, because most of the time when somebody is struggling with this journey, they shut down, fall asleep, and feel all alone because they push everyone else away. So it's important to encourage those support people in their life and help them find them, but also teach them how to communicate and get those people to help them in those situations.
And with a lot of times the emotional part of this falls on the woman. And Barclay and I understand that a lot of women have to deal with, oh, I can't have a baby. Do I actually work? What is this? And a lot of times the men aren't really necessarily the ones who have to deal with the emotional part. So how do men deal with, oh no, we're dealing with an infertility issue here, or oh no, we've had a loss? How do you counsel them?
Well, I guess the best example of that was my own journey. When I had a miscarriage, I went to bed. I did what most women do, and I hid. And my husband came to me, and he had to talk me out of it. And he had to shove me out. He didn't literally shove me out of the bed, but he had to talk me out of that and just remind me that life goes on, that every day is a gift, every single day. And you have to find those moments of joy in each day to keep going. But with men, it's so important to have that spouse or that support person. With my husband, I had the support. I had that person that just really encouraged me, but also it was hard on him too. They're suffering as well, and they're forgotten a lot of times. So just encouraging them as well, encouraging the women to reach out to them, to look for moments to do something special for them. And that's part of their journey as well. It's not always being focused on self-help and all of that. It's also helping others, because we grow and we heal when we love and when we show that love. And first and foremost in our relationship with the Lord, but also showing it to others. And I think a lot of times we get too focused on feeling good and it being us, and we leave the men or the husband or the people in our life out. And that only harms, that does not help.
So I think too, to add to that, friends and family, right? So we talk about the male factor.
Yeah.
I remember being like, in my head, stubborn, saying, I am the thermostat of this. And if I see a plus sign on my pregnancy test, I don't care how many miscarriages I've had, I'm going to be happy and y'all are going to be happy with me. And when they weren't, I really just would shut down, and it became robotic, to be quite honest. And so I think that women need to break that barrier.
Yeah.
What would you say to women who are stubborn like that? Because George said to me finally after the last one, he said, if this doesn't work, I don't think I can go on. And I had a real hard time accepting that. Thank the Lord, Grace Campbell came along.
Yeah.
But I really did. I had a hard time accepting that, because I thought, this is my journey, and I've been going on, and it's been happening to my body. But it really wasn't just my journey, right?
Yeah.
We get stubborn-headed about that. this.
Yeah. No, when women are, not only in this topic, but others, when they shut everyone out and, I'm going to do it my way and I'm going to do it, and I don't care what all of you think. I just encourage them going back to the Word and just saying, that's not what we're called to do. We're called to first and foremost love the Lord, but then love others. And it's not showing love to do that. It's a protection to yourself. You put a wall up, you push everyone out, and then you're the one that hurts the most. They hurt as well, but you're hurting more than they are. So just reminding them that this is not helping you. If you truly want healing and you want that hope, then you can't shut everybody out.
Mentally, it's tough knowing that you may have had a loss or you may not be able to have a baby. How soon do you counsel your patients into trying again? I mean, I know they get advice from the medical doctors on when their body can handle it, but emotionally you have to be there too, right? And so,
Yeah.
what do you say?
I usually defer to the medical field because they know the best about our bodies and everything, but also just telling them, as far as intimacy and all that, to wait until they're ready for that. And to be very open and honest with their husband about how they're feeling. Because if you go too soon, then it can be more harmful than helpful. So having that communication is so important, but also just being willing to hope and not forcing it, not jumping in too fast.
What I love about what we're doing here tonight is that Dr. Jordan, as we found out, refers patients to you because she is so also, like you, faith-based in saying that there is a much bigger power here. The Lord's at play in this as well.
Yeah.
And so they're coming to you during this journey. And the fact that a medical doctor refers to therapy, as Dr. Pickett suggested that I do it as well, why do you think so many people don't go and see a counselor and talk it through, thinking that they can muster through? But what? Like, what would you say to somebody? Like, break the mold. You know? Go.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of just thoughts about therapy and about counseling that scare people. Being that transparent, it's hard to even do with your family and friends. So just encouraging, it's not like we're doing any kind of weird stuff there,
No voodoo.
Yeah, there's no voodoo or anything, but just encouraging people to have a safe place to talk. And that's I'm at Renewing Hearts, and that's what we try to give, is a safe environment where people can be open and honest and know that they are loved, and we're not going to judge them or look down on them, but we're going to do as God calls us to do, which is to love them and help them through this journey for however long that may take. It may take a couple times, it may take longer, but and just, it's so important.
And on the other side with family, and I didn't realize it until I saw it with my own relative who had a miscarriage. And I was a little hesitant about bringing my baby around her, thinking, oh no. And when I finally did, she cried. And then a few months later, she apologized because she couldn't attend my baby shower. She couldn't do anything because it hurt that much. She had isolated herself, like we talked about. What could I have done differently? I mean, I knew that she knew I would be there for her, but how do you, and I don't know if you ever see the relatives or if you just counsel the patient, but tell the relatives tonight, what should they do in order to give them that loving, supportive, faith-based atmosphere when there is a loss?
Yeah. My husband's a pastor, and I was actually talking to the ladies about the fact that Mother's Day is one of the hardest days at our church because of exactly what you're talking about. There are women who have never had children. There are women who have lost children. So many. And so the way we try to approach it is, my husband does a great job of just saying, you are all women and you are all loved, and we're going to celebrate all of you today. You have been a mother to my child in Sunday school, and he points that out. You may not have physically carried a child, but you have been a mother to my child. You have made a difference in my child's life, just as a mother would have. And just reminding them. Yeah, so that has helped tremendously, just pointing that out, that just because that wasn't physically your child, we all have people in our life and children and people that we have an impact on, and we should look at everybody in that way as a child of God and somebody we can love.
Great information. We so appreciate it. And mental health is such a big aspect of so much of this. And don't forget that postpartum stuff as well. Once you get through this, if you get to the other side of being able to have a child, or even if you do adopt, there is a lot that goes with having a child.
A lot, and it's scary because you don't always know that you might have postpartum depression. You don't always know it. It looks normal sometimes. Yeah,
it does. It can creep up on you.
So talk to someone like Ruth.
Yes, Ruth, thank you so much for being here and being so insightful in your message.